welcome back. This is CyPhaCon's second promo here on Fandom Universe, and I'm here with Bridget.
Hi.
How you doing
Hello,
today, Bridget?
everyone in the universe. We've done a little role reversal here. Now you're interviewing me.
Yeah, well, it's going to happen every once in a while here on the program.
True, true.
So, you're in costume today, and you want to
Yes.
tell them why you're in costume today?
Well, I'm in costume because I'm cosplaying. I am Chun-Li. Also, I'm sure I'll be wearing this at CyPhaCon this year, as I am one of the first announced cosplay guests that are going to be appearing at CyPhaCon.
Yes, she is. And tell us your cosplay name, by the way.
My cosplay name is Miss OoLaLa Cosplay, or OoLaLa Cosplay. Of course, I go by Bridget Rose, whatever you want to call me. But that's been a name I've used. A lot of cosplayers have their own monikers that they use for cosplaying.
Exactly.
So.
And how did you get into cosplay in the first place?
Back in 2004, there was a convention being started, and I didn't know anything about anime conventions. I knew I liked anime, liked video games, and I liked buying cool stuff that had to do with any of those things. But I didn't know really about the existence of them because back then it was still, I mean, sure they had conventions and stuff, but it wasn't as huge as it is now. So these guys were starting up an anime convention in Lafayette, and they were like, hey, you look like an anime character. And I was like, thanks. And they wanted to know if I wanted to be their promotional model for their convention and also to appear at other conventions. Awesome. And I was like, what is anime convention? And when they told me, it sounded like the most amazing thing to ever go to in my life. So I immediately said, I think I said yes before they finished telling me what it even was. So I worked for the Lafayette Convention for 7 years as their cosplay spokesmodel person, or mascot as they call it. I was a space pilot in, it started off as a black suit, but we had different renditions, as you guys have also had different renditions of your mascot.
Yes, Serenity.
Serenity. Kind of similar. We were pilots each time, and we always went out to promotional events and handed out flyers and told people about the guests. And it was so exciting that I wanted to start making my own costumes of my own characters that I liked, you know. I mean, it's opened up this huge world. Of course, I didn't know how to sew, so I began learning how to sew.
Isn't that where it always starts? I mean, you get interested in something and you want to actually learn, and then you actually jump right into it. And then when you do it, it's like, oh my God, I can do this. And you just keep doing it more and more and more. And you're like, wait, I can do even better stuff. I'm going to learn even more stuff. And that's where it all begins. That's where the journey begins. So in that case, when the journey begins for you, you said you started about 6 or 7 years ago, correct?
Let's see. Actually longer ago because, 2014. 2004 to 2015, so 11 years.
11 years, yeah.
Wow, that is a really long time.
Yeah. So how many costumes have you actually done in that course of time? I mean, I'm pretty sure that there are a pretty good number of costumes.
So many of them. I guess I've got about, it's actually not as high of a number as I would have thought it would be, as for a long time I was just doing the mascotting. But I'd say I have about 11 or 12 different costumes that I've brought to conventions. Of course, I have lots of false starts on costumes where I take on something very ambitious and realize I haven't quite honed the skills necessary to build them. So
I know how it is. I get started on doing costumes myself, and I just I come to a stopping point because I just don't know where I'm going to go for it, and then I wait for a little while, then I go, oh, there's a con coming up, we got to get started on this. And then,
let's see.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I got 5 weeks. Can I do this in 5 weeks? Stop.
And this is so not a watch.
If you get 5 weeks in, you're like, oh my God, I can do it. And then you're up every single night trying to rush to get to the costume, and you're like, oh my God, I got to get it done. You might get it done, not.
I think it's a rule of cosplay. Everything is last minute, right?
Yes,
I mean, this is by no means my advice.
That is completely true.
Everything is burning the midnight oil.
It absolutely is.
Sometimes you may be, gluing things in your hotel room.
There's always a kit for that. You've got to have a spare.
Cosplay emergency kit.
Yes. So you said you were going to different conventions and stuff like that. So have you entered any contests?
Yes. I started off entering a lot in, they used to not always have a master's division and a intermediate and all that. You know, it was one big contest. But I don't know how many I've entered over the course. I wish I had a number. I'd be making it up. I don't want to lie to you. But somewhere 16, 15, 16. I mean, I've done quite a few. Not all of them did I win stuff. Whenever they started having different divisions and I was participating with people that were more on my skill level in the beginning, it became easier to win awards. And then it was this crazy realization once at a convention called IkiCon. I wore my Cosmos from Xenosaga. She's she's got blue hair, a white robot. She's an android, and I've got these butt torpedo missile things and the space armor. And I entered into the intermediate division. They were like, "No, sweetie, you should be masters. This is," and we remember you won. We've seen you win a few things at some of the other conventions, and don't you think you should do this? And I was like, "Do I even stand a chance?" And they're like, "Yes, you do." And that was sort of my own personal, in my own personal journey of cosplay, which allowed me to realize, yes, I am a cosplayer, and this is what I do.
And that's where you push, and you realize, like, wait a minute, I can do something that I didn't expect to do before, and now I'm going into a new level of doing costuming, and that's what
level up.
And you level up, exactly.
You level up.
Exactly.
It's like one big RPG cosplay. You just you gain experience points and you level up.
You're right, exactly.
Don't spend them all in one place.
So, as we grow in the cosplay community, and this is what happens at every convention, we see it every year. CyPhaCon has had a bunch of people come into our event and do a lot of cosplay. So what do you think the biggest thing is that you think now in the last 5-10 years has brought cosplay to the forefront? Like basically coming out and saying, oh my God, it's getting more popular. Is it because there's so much more geeky stuff on TV? Is there more like television, more games? Is it more becoming a trend for the normal, I guess, as they can say it?
Yes, and yes. One of the biggest things I think that marked the, the introduction of cosplay into, I say normal people's lives, because we know we are unique individuals. Yes. But for the normal people out there that don't find cosplay in their everyday life, whenever we saw with Yaya Han and Heroes of Cosplay, that right there marked an era, the beginning of a new era, where it's introduced in, lady at Walmart might know what cosplay is at this point, whereas before, you might want to be in I guess Joanne Fabrics or say a comic book store or GameStop, and then people will know cosplay there. But now it's more of a broad thing. Stuff like that, the popularization of a lot of video games these days, whenever games used to be more of like a nerd hobby. I hate the stigma of it. But now with the, the dawn of the everyman gaming, where they've got, the Nintendo Wii promoted the, games for everyone. And so you get your non-gamers into games, and then just like anime being on, more of it with, Cartoon Network and everything, like just the not oversaturation of it in the media, but it's become more accepted. And of course, there's more conventions now. I know back in the day, it was, you had maybe 4 of them that you would try to plan to go to, but they were spread out so far. And now we've got like 2 in Lake Charles. We've had 1 or 2 in Lafayette. We'll have like 60 million of them in Houston. Not literally, but things like that have more introduced cosplay into our everyday lives, and also things like the film festival in Lake Charles, for instance, had their first ever cosplay guest. Hi, that was me and my friend. Which and also Shane Dyson, and and they also plan on continuing that tradition.
That's great.
So
that's awesome.
That's a lot of what I
love hearing that, because what it is with CyPhaCon, and what's great is other events do these things, and CyPhaCon is very special when we do cosplay contests. We try to bring in a wide range of people that come in and actually do it. And Bridget was there last year, and she actually emceed the introduction last year for us. And you saw all the people that came in last year and all the amazing costumes we had. I mean, we're in Rosa Hart Theater. We're packing the theater out, which is unbelievable for us. And, we're expecting this again next year. It's going to be huge. So, as we move on with next year's event, and, it's cool. What do you do on your normal basis? I mean, we see you in costume now, but what is your normal life like outside of cosplay? I know cosplay is a hobby, and that's what we do, and I cosplay myself. So, my normal job is, I work in IT. That's my job, and I do the convention as my second job. So what is it that you do outside of work outside.
My normal life.
That's
I have a normal life?
Yes.
Hold on, wait,
Is there
what?
such a thing as normal life? I mean, I really don't know.
Just kidding. I guess my outside life from cosplay isn't exactly totally normal. I'm a radio DJ.
Which stations? Because I know it's not just one.
Actually, it is one right now. I was on two, but that was very hectic, especially with call letters. You don't want to.
Okay.
I was recently on Rock 101.3 in Lake Charles, and now I'm on 94.5 KSMB out of Lafayette. Also goes into Lake Charles. So.
Yeah.
I'm also a promotions director, so I run a lot of events, which is something really awesome whenever you work with a lot of cosplay events.
Yes.
You know, it kind of gets you prepared for the insanity that ensues sometimes.
Exactly.
But yeah, and I also make commercials.
And you know, that's always amazing because, you know, I mean, doing promotions and stuff like that, much like we're doing right now. I mean, this is how
this is promotions,
it's
technically.
promotions too. Exactly. It's what CyPhaCon's all about, you know. And doing stuff like this, and it's making it more accessible to the general public. So, what would you say, like, to anybody out there that might not know what it is to be to cosplay? What would you encourage them to do before we wrap it up today? Like, your experience of what got you into it and what you think they should do, and the thing is, like, just
to really get into it.
Yeah, to really get into it, yeah.
Like for a first-time person seeing it and the wonders of it and you want to get into it and you don't know how, I would say that there's a lot of YouTube tutorials, first of all, if you don't know how to sew. I didn't learn from a book or an instructor per se. I've learned from a few friends that showed me tips and tricks, but the main way that I've learned how to put together stuff is just by Googling it and YouTubing it, as silly as it sounds. Also finding a character that you connect with. It's great when you have a group of friends that all say, ooh, we're all going to do Dynasty Warriors. But if you don't really care about Dynasty Warriors, or don't, which I do love that game, but if you're not into the character, if you don't have a personal connection with it, it makes it a little harder when you do wear the costume. You know, you can't get into it as much. Right. So pick something that you connect with, and then something that's feasible for your skill level. And if you're a beginner, you know, don't ever hesitate to ask other cosplayers. My cosplay Facebook fan page is always open for inquiries on how did you do this? Where did you purchase that wig? You know, how do you style this? How do you make boot covers? I'll answer anything. Myself and my cosplay partner, who we will have her on another episode of
sure
this. That's another thing that I encourage is have somebody else. Don't do it alone. If you have to, sure. But having a friend or someone else who's also interested, you can learn from each other and learn with each other. Michelle Hart is an incredible person. She came into my life and was like, I want to make cool stuff. You want to make cool stuff? Let's make cool stuff. And that became our goal. You know, we make costumes together. We compete. We try to do the national competition, the World Cosplay Summit.
That's awesome.
Where we traveled to Chicago for the final round. We were hoping that maybe, you know, we would beat out all the other teams and get to go to Japan. That's another thing, is having a goal like that. If you ever want to go to Japan and compete against Italy and all the other, China and everyone out there, you get to meet some incredible people, and having a goal like that also is a good thing to push you forward.
And that is awesome. So what's your website, by the way, or actually Facebook page? What is it called?
It's Cute Classy Chaos. I say it like that just because chaos is the fun part.
It always is.
That's sort of the root of all of our cosplays. There's chaos everywhere. But Cute Classy Chaos, you can find us on there. I also have OoLaLa Cosplay. That page isn't as active. Okay. But anyone who wishes to inquire about anything we've made or seeking help for any future cosplays, please welcome Cute Classy Chaos. We're here to help.
And you can find everything about Bridget and Michelle, which we'll have on the program later on in the year. You'll be able to find that all on our website as well on CyPhaCon.org. And as always, thank you, Fandom Universe, for having us here one more time. And we're going to keep doing this until CyPhaCon, and we're going to keep doing it as much as we can because we love you guys and we want to bring you some really cool content. So go to CyPhaCon.org, CyPhaCon on Facebook, CyPhaCon on Twitter and Tumblr, and on our YouTube channel, CyPhaCon. And until next time, we'll see you then.
Adios.
Bye-bye.